Hey Piers, does my bum look racist in these jeans? That was the joke made by Desi Lydig on The Daily Show about the American Eagle Sydney Sweeny ad. And it reflects the extraordinary Denim Wars happening right now in the US. This was something I wanted to talk about a few weeks ago when the American Eagle ad first came out, but somehow we kind of missed the boat. But it's come back into the headlines today with the announcement of both American Eagle and Gap's Q3 results, which provide a shocking answer to the question, does hate sell in today's America?
Ooh, that is quite a question. Gosh, Jan's been pushing it now. Okay, well look, first of all, hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Marketing Global Edition, in which apparently we are going to take on a very thorny issue of race in American advertising.
Yes, and its potential impact on the rest of the world, because we are, after all, the global edition. So yes, hello everyone, and welcome to Marketing Global Edition.
So Jasmine, maybe we should start by letting everyone know what the whole American Eagle ad controversy is all about.
Yeah, so, people often start this kind of introduction by saying, for those of you who've been living under a rock, here's the background. But I'm not going to say that because I think that's a bit rude. And I'm going to say, for those of you who have been too busy getting your kids ready to go back to school, or getting your feet back under your desk after your summer holidays, or just enjoying a news cleanse to wean yourself off the cortisol high that comes with the daily digest of war, genocide, and political insanity from the crazy orange man in the very White House, here is what we are talking about.
A nice job again of maintaining political neutrality. I think you've mentioned the orange man quite a few times in recent podcasts, actually.
Political neutrality be damned. It's our podcast. We may speak our minds.
That's true. Okay, so what's the American Eagle drama all about?
So on July 23rd this year, just last month, American Eagle launched a campaign featuring Sydney Sweeny, the actress from, among other things, White Lotus, season one, which you and I both loved, Piers.
Yeah.
It shows her lying down and doing her jeans up in rather seductive fashion with the tagline, Sydney Sweeny has great jeans.
Okay, so that's a great pun on denim and genetics, but it gets a lot worse than that, doesn't it, if you listen to the whole ad?
Yeah, so here's what she says in full. And she says it in a very sultry voice, which I don't think I can remotely live up to. She says, genes are passed down from parent to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue. And then this is followed by the tagline, Sydney Sweeny has great genes.
Wow, I mean that really does immediately evoke some rather troubling references to eugenics.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, eugenics is the idea that some traits like white skin and blue eyes are superior to others, and those traits to others who should not be allowed to reproduce. It's anyway an idea from that the Nazis used back in the 40s in Germany, who adopted extreme eugenics policies, to promote Aryan purity, such as forced sterilisation of non-white women, which is getting very uncomfortable.
No, I mean, it's completely horrendous. It's a horrendous thing to be referencing, even obliquely. So obviously there was a backlash against the ad. But then this backlash itself was picked up by the right-wing media in the US, who branded it anti-woke. And they pounced on it, and never one to leave a good white supremacist dog whistle unblown. Trump got involved. So he and JD Vance criticized the backlash as an overreach of cancel culture and pushed the whole debate into the spotlight.
And then, just after all the furore around American Eagle, Gap came out with a completely different ad on the other side of the Denim Wars with their Better in Denim ad. And this one featured K-pop inspired global group Katseye, and it was a very diverse and multicultural group of young women dancing to 𝐼𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐶𝐶 Milkshake. Basically, it's an ad. It's all about individuality and representation.
Yeah, so it's a totally different picture, right? So this is dark-haired women from a variety of diverse ethnic backgrounds with the tagline, Better in Denim. It was like the antithesis the antidote. It was like the anti-American Eagle ad.
Actually, Jasmine, do you think, out of interest, that Gap made it as a specific comeback to the American Eagle ad?
I kind of wish they had, because I think that would make a terrific story, and I would really applaud Gap. But I think it's impossible because it came out just a week or two later. And as you and I know all too well, you can't create a world-class TV ad like that in a week, although clients frequently ask us to. So it must have been fortuitous timing. But I think what it shows is that the soul of Gap is very different to the soul of American Eagle. And, they were just going ahead anyway, doing what came naturally to them. But the internet totally picked up that kind of contrast.
Okay. So this story begs some really interesting questions.
Like, what the hell were American Eagle thinking?
Well, it's a really big question, actually. Did American Eagle intend this to be a dog whistle to white supremacists? Or was this really just a jeans ad that accidentally sparked a cultural debate?
Yeah, and I think the other question is, will we see an increase in hate ads? Ad using segregationist or extreme coded marketing to sell to the MAGA right in a very polarized America?
And if so, will those brands stand the test of time? And will it be a winning strategy long term? Essentially, could hate pay off?
And if so, how will brands that do that fare internationally? Will the rest of the world, what will the rest of the world make of brands that use subtle or overt hate marketing in their American ads? What will the rest of the world think about those brands? How will they receive them?
Okay, well, let's start with the first question, okay? Was this a deliberate attempt on the part of American Eagle? And if so, do they gain stand from it?
Right, so American Eagle themselves, to be fair to them, we should put the point across, they said, hey guys, nothing to see here, this was just a jeans ad. Their response was, great jeans look good on everyone.
No, that's right, they didn't apologise, they didn't take it down. In fact, they doubled down, extending Sweeney's campaign throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, I definitely feel that their response was what my father would describe as the sound of one hand clapping. I mean, it just was a pathetic response. In other cases where brands have accidentally stood on a PR landmine, whether it's race or sexism or whatever, they've immediately apologized and taken the ad down. Swatch recently launched an ad that mimicked a kind of racist taunt against Asians, and they apologized. So the fact that American Eagle aren't totally mortified, that they're not taking down the ad, speaks volumes, I think, about their intention.
And, in fact, there is some interesting evidence that this is a very premeditated attempt at controversy.
Yeah, coming from somebody from American Eagle themselves. So the Wall Street Journal reported on a post that Ashley Shapiro, who's American Eagle's Vice President of Marketing and Media, posted on LinkedIn about the campaign. She's since taken that post down. But she herself posted, she told a story about a Zoom call that American Eagle had with Sweeney and the marketing team. So here's what she wrote. She said, quote, during a Zoom call with Sweeney, they asked her, how far do you want to push it? Without hesitation, she smirked and said, let's push it, I'm game. Our response, challenge accepted. So this is all her talking from American Eagle. And she went on to say, from that moment on, Sid's sentiment, she calls her Sid, Sid's sentiment guided every frame, every stitch, and every unexpected twist of the Sydney Sweeny Has Great Jeans campaign. The star power of Sydney and the double meaning behind the campaign has a culture-shaping power beyond anything I could have ever imagined being part of. Just check your social feeds. End quote.
Culture-shaping power. That's an incredibly telling phrase.
Absolutely.
I think it's super insightful, actually. I mean, brands have tremendous, power in shaping cultures. That's what they really do. But I've rarely seen a brand set out to use theirs in the service of something like white supremacy. In fact, I haven't.
Right. I mean, in this incredibly divided America with its hyper-polarized media and culture wars, everything, even ads and logos, are scrutinized and subject to woke hysteria from the left, vitriol from the right, and even presidential oversight. Trump gets involved in all the culture wars, even the marketing ones. So, he recently, every single ad that comes out, every brand decision, he recently got a famous cheese brand, Cracker Barrel, to undo its rebrand when it dropped its traditional logo. He made them go back and undo their rebrand.
That's right. Yes, in August, Cracker Barrel unveiled a new logo, as many brands do after a period of time,
Sure.
to replace. They had this really traditional Uncle Herschel design featuring an elderly man leaning on a barrel. It was, time for a change. They thought so.
I think
They
it may be
changed.
the same logo that was on the cheese when my grandmother used to serve it to me in
Yeah,
the
it's been around
70s.
a very long time, but
Yeah.
things do change, right? And they changed it for something very minimalist, a text-only version, which is quite a departure. But we're talking about a cheese here, right?
Yeah.
And anyway,
Not
they
Jaguar,
did
but
it.
it's cheese.
Yeah, they did it as a sort of broader effort to modernise their brand, right? Attract younger, cheese-eating audiences, you could say. Okay, however, yeah, the president came swooping in, and his supporters, and said, it's ridiculous. It's an example of woke corporate culture. It was nuts, really. But the critics argue that the new logo was a departure from the company's traditional values. All these sort of arguments went on. But ultimately, in response to all the public outcry, fueled by Trump, etc., the Cracker Barrel reverted to their old logo, with the old man leaning on the barrel again. And by the end of August, they changed back.
Yeah. So Trump knows very well that brands have culture shaping power. He recently demanded that the American football team, who are currently called the Washington Commanders, revert back to their original name of the Washington Redskins, which, of course, from if you're an indigenous people, original, American Indian, heritage, you don't love Redskins. That seems like a kind of very outdated way of describing, the indigenous, the original people in America. And so they changed it actually after 2020. So after George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, they changed it to they changed from Redskins to the Washington Commanders. And he's now demanding that they go back again.
He gets involved in everything. Your orange man has inserted himself into all sorts of controversies recently, including Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney one,
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick for Nike, Jaguar Land Rover, and even Target he's got involved in. But he almost never does not comment on a brand when he thinks there's something woke to say or to go against. And indeed, he's incredibly critical of companies investing in diversity, inclusivity, equality programs. So, for which he has actually cut federal funding within the government.
Right. Equality, bad idea, evil. Nobody should have equality. It's outrageous. Okay, so we believe that American Eagle did this intentionally. We think the evidence is there. But I guess the question is their motivation. Was it just to shape culture and make it okay to be white, blonde, and blue-eyed again? Because we know what a downtrodden segment of society blue-eyed, blonde, beautiful women are.
No, I think it comes down to, like most things, money. It's an incredibly popular ideal that drives a lot of MAGA. Drives a lot of MAGA people to purchase.
MAGA, Make America Great Again, the whole Trump.
Yeah, and I think Sweeney's signature jeans, they actually sold out within a week, and some other products sold out within one day. So, it's creating sales.
Yeah, so there was an immediate short-term sales impact, and then yesterday American Eagle published their Q3 results, and they were touting the efficacy of the ad. So the company beat analyst expectations for the second quarter on Wednesday. Sorry, it was their Q2 results. The CEO, Jay Schottenstein, said he considered the campaign a success, and he said the great jeans marketing campaign starring Sweeney has helped to drive an uptick in customer awareness and engagement and incomparable sales.